welcome back to a brand new video. It's a Sunday evening on the 9th of July, I believe, and this is just like a quick status, short update on what I've been up to. I haven't really been working too much on this app, Arbster, that I've been making a lot of the videos about, as you know. Or I've been working on it, but I haven't made much progress, because I've been stuck on this AR thing where you can use the camera to measure the height of a tree. I've talked about that in a previous video. But this is incredibly difficult, and I am very stuck on this particular problem, and I can't really manage to figure it out. But I have this pretty nice toolkit section that I want to launch, but this VR AR thing where you measure the height of a tree with the camera is part of this toolkit section. So now my dilemma is, one, do I try to solve this, or I release this toolkit section and then maybe in the future I have this tree height measure thing. So I'm thinking now that I'm gonna actually launch this toolkit section as is, and I'm thinking that this video is gonna be a quick code walkthrough of what this toolkit section looks like. So without further ado, let me get into the office and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So I'm going to get into the actual code, but first I'm just gonna take a moment to show you what the thing looks like in VR or in AR. I'm not sure, is it called VR, AR, whatever? Arbor's toolkit, you can press this tree height estimator, and then you'll be able to use the camera to measure the height of something. And if it's a short distance, this actually works pretty nicely, but for longer distances like trees, this doesn't work. So I have these other ones though that I'm going to show you how they work and how the code looks like, but I think these will be quite useful themselves. So let's hop on to the actual code. Okay, so here we are with the sample version of the app here, and I'm just going to show you quickly what it looks like in terms of this one, the Arborist toolkit section. So first of all, we have this page which just shows the toolkit. That's shown on this page, the toolkit page, and essentially what it is just a scaffold with an app bar that says Arborist toolkit, as you see there. And inside of this, there's a center widget with a list tile for each one of these. So for example, we have the tree height estimator, which is again the AR feature that I just showed you previously, and then it's just another list tile for each and every one of those tools. So first of all, there's a list tile which pushes you to the pro forma invoice generator, and what this is you can go to the pro forma invoice generator, which is, I'm going to show you this code here, which just is a bunch of different fields where you can enter some information. So for example, you can pick the date, you can pick the date the job is supposed to be done, the name of the seller, etc. And if you fill in some stuff here, and I'm just going to do some random things, but we do some text, and then it will take all of this and it will allow you to also add products. Like if you have a line item, you can say this one, it's priced at this rate and it's 25% VAT or something like that. And then you will press this one that says generate pro forma invoice. And what that will do is that will generate an invoice PDF and use that function. And what this then does is it takes all of these fields that I've entered, and it uses this PDF page format to create the page essentially that is PDF. So it will take all these inputs. So for example, it will say the pro forma invoice is the text scale factor, whatever we choose there. The invoice date is the invoice date controller that we're being sent from over here, which is again the controller that's used to control these fields. And then after that, it will just generate a pro forma invoice that you can share with your customers. So if I then go ahead and I press generate pro forma invoice, it will generate that one, so we can press markup, and then you can see we have this pro forma invoice in a PDF format that we can then send to the client. If we can then edit it, we can then save it, we can share it, we can do whatever with it. So that's a pretty useful thing. You can also save the file, print it, whatever. And the thought is here that once you're out on a job and you meet a neighbor, you meet a client, whatever, you're going to be able to generate the pro forma invoice for them and just share that as a PDF so you can book that job or whatever. So you can do it all in the app. The intention is you're going to be able to send that pro forma invoice, like the offer, and then you're also going to plan that job in the app later on. And that's that simple code. I guess it's not super simple, but what it is just a bunch of text fields, and then it just uses this function that is generate invoice PDF that takes all of these text fields and just puts it into a PDF. The next one is a tree diameter calculator. It's this one here. This one's relatively simple. All it is just uses this function. It's a simple layout of a scaffold with an app bar that then has this container with a list view that contains this circle avatar, which is this icon that you see here. That then has the text form field where you enter the circumference. This only takes a number, and you can also pick whatever unit you're working with, like if it's meters, feet, etc. And then it has this function that says onChanged. So if there is a value, it will display it here. If there's no value, it won't display anything. It's just saying we're taking a container and we're saying that this is the value that we're getting from the calculation, and we're displaying diameter after that particular word. So how this calculate diameter works is that it takes the circumference, which is the double that we pass in this text form field, and then it will parse this into a number, and then it will just calculate the diameter of it using the this one, to string as field, and then it will use the pi function in the dart.math package. So if we then enter a circumference that is, for example, 58 centimeters, and we press calculate diameter, it will say that the diameter is 18.5 centimeters. Also pretty useful for when you're working with like logs, etc. Just another one of these toolkit things for the arborist. Moving on, we have the log weight calculator, and that one's a little bit more complex. And here we have a map of a bunch of different woods and their density. So how you're working with the density is that density is used to calculate the weight of something given a particular length. So if we have a length of a particular log, or the diameter or whatever, we're then gonna, or both of those we need in order to be able to calculate like the volume of it. And then using the volume, we can calculate the density of that particular wood. So what it does is that it will take the length, it will take the diameter, it will parse this into a double, and then it will calculate the volume using pi times the diameter raised to the power 2, and then times that by the length, which is the mathematical formula for volume. And then it will calculate the weight using the volume times the density. And the density is something, either it's 785, which is like the average density of wood if nothing is passed, but if you pass a particular wood, for example like a softwood or an alder or ash or whatever, it will take the density that we pass from there. So if we then go here to this particular wood and we select ebony, and then we select we want it in imperial or we want it in metric, say we want it in metric. This is also quite nice. If we switch to imperial, it changes to feet in here, but if we pick metric, it will then display it in metric. And what this uses here is that it has this size list view with the same circle avatar, and inside of this there's this drop down button form field where it just has the value of wood type, which to begin with is hardwood. But then when you change this, it calls this on wood type selected function, which is over here. So then it will set the state to the wood type or whatever value you select there. It will change the density to what the density of the particular wood type is in the map wood densities that I showed over here. And it will pass that. If that's nothing selected or if something's wrong, it will just send 785 grams per, I think, cubic meter, which is like the average weight of wood. But that's if you don't pass anything. After this, you will come down here and you will press the same thing. You will press calculate weight, and once you press calculate weight, you go through the particular one that we just showed before. So if we go to this and we say it's 2 meters long and the diameter is 0.5, then we can calculate the weight, and it will estimate that this is approximately 490 kilos, this particular log that you're working with. So this is pretty useful if you're going to be like chipping the wood or if you're going to be transporting it anywhere. And then you can also change this. So if we change this to cherry and we press calculate weight, you can see it's only 247. So this varies quite significantly depending on the type of wood. So that is the toolkit section, a little bit about how the code works. As you could tell, we don't really get the tree height thing to work. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go to the toolkit page, and we're going to take this particular list tile here, and we're going to delete that one. So, and we're going to delete that divider as well. So once we refresh this now, we only have those 3 particular ones. We're also going to go to this tree height calculator, and we're going to delete this because we don't need it. So we're going to move that to trash, and then we're going to get an error here because we're using this that doesn't exist. So we're going to remove that, and then we're also going to head over to our pubspec YAML file, and we're going to use this ARKit plugin. We don't need that anymore, so we're going to delete that. We're going to close the pubspec YAML, save, we're just going to run pubget, and that's just so now we've removed the package. So what happened now is that we removed that, so now we can send this into Apple and Google as is, because if you have something in the app like an ARKit plugin or a package that you're not using, they're going to instruct you to remove it, etc, etc. So we're just being going ahead there. So what we can do then is we can go to the terminal and we can press git status just to see how many changes were made that are not logged in git. So we're going to go git add all of them to the repository, and we're going to press git commit, and we're going to call it m toolkit complete, and then we're going to just push it off. So now it's on the repository. So that was a basic just tutorial of, or not tutorial, it was a basic run through of this particular arborist toolkit. I think it will be relatively useful. This together with like the safety module, for example, is quite a good thing to use. So I think we're going to be launching this then tomorrow. We're sending it to Google and Apple tomorrow for approval, so that people can begin using this. And maybe after summer, or once I've solved some of the other issues that I have with the conversion funnel, etc., maybe we'll look into adding this tree height calculator afterwards. But that is the plan for now. That is what it looks like. Tomorrow I'm going to be filming a day in the life video where I'm making all of this kind of stuff. So if you're interested in those kinds of videos, then make sure to hit the notification bell down below and subscribe so you're in tune for the next one. And I'll see you there. Peace.